Well, the depths tried to claim me. The gloom that you see spread around Hyrule, it tried to take me down. What are the odds that the first time I get sick in nearly 2 years is on the launch day of Tears of the Kingdom? What are the odds that it completely KOs me and I can't do anything? What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Pretty exciting topic here today to talk about Nintendo Switch 2, but also just wanted to update you guys if you wondered what's been going on, why I haven't been posting on social media or YouTube yesterday. I just got absolutely knocked out by some sickness. I literally haven't got sick for about 2 years since I moved to Arizona, and then been prepping for this freaking Tears of the Kingdom launch for years, and then I get sick on the launch date. And I didn't even go anywhere. I don't know. It was so dumb. It's still so dumb, but I'm trying to start back slow with something basic. But this really isn't all that basic. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's just basic in terms of the edit. Apparently, we have new details on Nintendo Switch 2, and this one is fascinating, and this definitely plays into the favor of Team 2024. This comes from originating on a Digital Foundry Direct podcast that they posted up on YouTube today, discussing the Sharp new screen rumor. Remember, we talked about how Sharp was said they were going to make a new screen for an upcoming gaming console, then scrubbed all mentions of the upcoming gaming console from their report. Well, the Digital Foundry folks were talking about how this is probably for Switch 2. And before you get worried about oh, it's an LCD screen, because that was specified, just know that the recently reviewed Asus ROG Ally is using an LCD screen, and that screen supposedly looks amazing, notably better than the Steam Deck screen. So even though it would be very weird for Switch to use OLED and then go back to an LCD, I guess in a way it allows, or would allow, the Switch OLED to still be the Switch OLED. You ever think about that? If they use another OLED screen on the next Switch, the Switch OLED isn't really the Switch OLED, is it? You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not in a goofy mood because I'm sick. I'm serious. I think that's a good thing to think about. If they do use an LCD screen and they use one that's really well made, the Switch OLED still has a spot in our hearts forever, all these special editions that we bought. But besides that, they were talking about when this thing will release and when Sharp's screen would be in production. And the main dude said that he knows that Switch 2 dev kits have been sent out and recalled. Now, I find this to be fascinating because that seems very odd to me. And so I was doing some digging and doing more reading and trying to understand more about why dev kits would get recalled. We know that dev kits are always sent out ahead of console launches, way ahead, so that third parties can make games for them, can learn them. We heard about dev kits going out supposedly way back in 2020. Now, I wonder if this is that same dev kit or this is something different, because remember, in summer 2020, Bloomberg was reporting that new 4K Switch dev kits were out there. Digital Foundry says that Switch 2 dev kits have been out there and have been recalled, and then Nate Drake over on Fama Boards says the same thing, that he knows that Switch 2 dev kits have been sent out and also recalled. Someone asked what kind of gigantic mess up would require Nintendo to pull their dev kits from all parties. And Nate Drake replied saying, it doesn't need to be a mess up. Better tech or things along those lines present themselves. It's happened before with other hardwares and their dev kits. Better technology became a viable option, the other kits were recalled, and the original plans were canceled/delayed in favor of the better, more attractive tech and options. This leads me to believe that one of two things happened here. A, Nintendo just found a better product. They decided to swap out something and swap something in. Or, do you remember a while back when we heard that the Switch Pro was actually canceled? There was a leak about how the Switch Pro was canceled, or supposedly it was that, they had the Switch Pro idea and then it was canceled. And I wonder if this is what it all is about. I wonder if this all ties together to that. That in the summer of 2020, Nintendo was planning on pushing a Switch Pro ASAP. They got dev kits out there, they were ready to go. And then due to the pandemic and due to all of the factory shutdowns and all of the clogging up of the pipelines of getting chips out there and getting production going, they weren't able to make it happen. They about-faced and they made the Switch OLED, which maybe never was supposed to exist in the first place. Now, years later, that same idea for a Switch Pro has been canceled and they recalled all of those dev kits because we're 3 freaking years later and they want to use different parts, cheaper parts, better parts. That is just an idea, but it seems like it lines up very well with what's been going on here. People are asking questions about, like, what would cause Nintendo to do this, and it doesn't seem like it would be anything like super massive. It's not like there's some like catastrophic glitch in the system. The artificial intelligence of the Switch 2 dev kit has risen up and taken shape as the newest version of ChatGPT. No, it just sounds like they maybe changed course or wanted to use a different part. So this brings into question, how much power does the Switch 2 actually have? We've always thought it's about like an Xbox Series S, something around there, like a PS4 Pro. Could it be even more powerful? I definitely want to caution you there, though. I think if Nintendo was swapping out parts or doing different kinds of technology, I don't know that it would be like absolutely upping the power. We see the Asus ROG Ally having the lowest battery life possible. That thing can run about 90 minutes if you're playing a top-end game. And I know Nintendo does not want their Switch 2 to run for under 2 hours. There's just no chance in heck. You cannot have a battery life perform that way for a Nintendo console. It will not happen. It won't be a thing. I don't think Nintendo can jam all that much more technological prowess into a Switch 2 in terms of pure processing power and have it work super well. Is there a way to lighten the load? Is there a way to make things cheaper? Is there a way to take pressure off the GPU? All these things, yeah, maybe. And so they could be swapping out screen, any number of parts. They could be swapping out joystick. They could be swapping out I don't know. It could be a multitude of things. But I don't think this means that the Switch 2 is going to inherently be a ton more powerful. I think it'll probably still be around the same general power sphere that we've been thinking about, which is like a PS4 Pro to like an Xbox Series S, in that range. Nothing really crazy, and maybe it won't even get to Xbox Series S based on seeing how like an Asus Ally, just it takes so much oomph, and that is a $700 system. We know Nintendo will want to keep it cheap, but more importantly, when will Nintendo want to put this out? Now, the Digital Foundry guys on the same podcast say they do not think that there's any new hardware coming out in this next fiscal year whatsoever, and that would be until next April. But again, the Digital Foundry guys are quoting a quote that does not exist. They're quoting a quote that's reported by multiple other avenues, multiple other journalistic sources that never happened. That supposedly Furukawa and co. Nintendo said there'd be no new hardware this next fiscal year. But that is not what they said. Nintendo, it's been confirmed and translated in a confirmed capacity, said that new hardware would not factor in to their next year of fiscal reporting. Not that there would be no new hardware release. Nonetheless, the Digital Foundry guys are sticking with a holiday 2024 launch as their prediction. And if dev kits have been recalled and nobody has heard that they've been sent out, that's also playing into this hypothesis that it's not coming till at least holiday 2024. It sounds like both Digital Foundry and Nate Drake are aware of dev kits going out, coming back in, but they're not aware of them going back out again. And they think that by this time, they would have heard if the system is going to release anytime soon. But again, I just take issue and umbrage with all of this because I know that they're quoting and they are reporting based on a false, fake quote. And that thing about no hardware, it's not something that we can take as 100% reality because it wasn't really said. It's very interesting to know that dev kits were recalled, and it does just throw this whole thing into a huge bundle of confusion of what is Nintendo doing and when are they going to do it. The fact of the matter remains, we have no plans from Nintendo and no clue what they are doing. We do know that something went out, something came back in. Sharp is making a screen for somebody, for something. Eventually, Nintendo has no games. But do know that Nintendo said that they will try their best to bolster their sales numbers to hit the 15 million target that they set out. There's no way that DLC does that. If you think that the second half of 2023 will just be DLC for some of their major IP like Pokemon, Splatoon, and Zelda, there's no way that 3 DLC packs and some Mario Kart sprinkled in is going to help them reach their goal. It's not. DLC does not sell systems. DLC does not move units. DLC is a small band-aid, and right now, based on their sales figures and their reduced targets, they've got a much bigger wound. The only thing that will solve that? Brand new games. I fully expect there to be a full slate of titles this fall and this holiday season. I just don't know when Nintendo's going to talk about them, but hopefully we find out soon. Let me know what you think about this whole sending out dev kits and recalling, and if that changes your opinion or mind on what we'll see for Switch 2, how powerful it'll be, and when it will release. I still hold out hope that Nintendo has some magic up their sleeves. And I still try to read these reports and Nintendo's words accurately, so I'm not confusing myself. But all of this is definitely very interesting, and I'm glad we're able to talk about it today. I am like surprisingly out of breath, so I'm gonna go. Videos don't do this to me. That's why I said I need to take a slow like return to this, because this sickness just like knocked me the heck out. I didn't even have the energy to play Tears of the Kingdom. I was just like sleeping and watching Silo, which you should watch. It's a great show. Okay. Whew, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you all lots. SwitchForce out.